kwinkles. See a humbug kukanini kwinkles. See a humbug kukanini kwinkles. See a humbug kukanini kwinkles. See a humbug, humbug, see a humbug. See a humbug kukanini kwinkles. See a humbug, humbug, see a humbug. See a humbug kukanini kwinkles.
We are a choir from the United States of America, from a Christian liberal arts college of university status. The choir is 49 students from all over the Northwest in the United States. It's a group of students that do this for fun mainly. They take a class at school, but they have to audition for this group. So it's a select group. They all sing in a big choir their first year at college, and then audition for this choir.
I started singing in the choir this year because I really enjoy the fellowship we have as a choir. I really enjoy singing. I love the chance to be able to be challenged at music when it's something I know very little about. And it's been a real growing opportunity for me to be able to travel with the choir and do all those things.
I think we shook it too much. I think so too. Okay. I didn't even shake it.
Did you guys have anything in there? What did you say? What's the girl, the guy race going?
I want Danish hot dog. I hear Danish hot dog.
Cool. So they have. I have classes, 6 other classes that I take 5 days a week, and with that I have choir every day. In the afternoons we have it for at least 1 hour, and then on the weekends, on Sundays, we have concerts. And we sing for the people in the churches in the community around Idaho.
See a humba, humba, see a humba, humba, see a humba, kukanani, kukanani, kwinkle. See a humba, humba, see a humba.
The choir is first and foremost so that we might sing praises to God. But because we're also of university status, we must learn to sing better too. And so we do lots of things by choosing good music that helps the voice work better, but also being concerned with what the words say and the spirit that the music can bring across. Most of our songs are a cappella, mainly because I love a cappella music, and it is also the easiest way to get the best sound out of a choir, I believe. But then there is also nothing else in the way of the choral sound and the choral message to then get across to the audience. The second reason is because we came on this trip to Scandinavia, there will be places we will sing that we might not have a nice piano to use or some other instrument. So it's much easier to just walk in and blow a pitch pipe and sing an a cappella number than it will be to find a good piano to use. Besides directing choir, I teach voice at the college. We're from Northwest Nazarene College. So many of these students are taking lessons from me besides in the choir. So I not only approach them from teaching their voice to use better, like any instrument, but also as the choir, I'm much more likely to approach them as individuals instead of the whole choir. We do things, for example, we warm up every single day by doing vocal exercises, usually on what we call nonsense syllables, not using real words, just going up and down on scales, so that we might warm up and stretch out the muscles. Just like any muscle in your body, especially like a runner, if he was to go out and immediately run a race without warming up, without putting on the proper clothing, he's much more likely to hurt himself. The same way we're dealing with muscles in the throat, and it must be warmed up properly and stretched out and worked out in the proper way so that they might develop instead of just happen. So we do warm-ups and vocal technique. Last time we did this, we did it in second order. Yeah, why don't you move to second order then? Second order. Quickly. That's men on the outside, women on the inside. So men, if you would file off, please. I also worry very much about this type of sound that they produce. Not to get too throaty, as we call it, yelling kind of sound, but a sweet, rich sound that comes up and around the head. So we talk about feeling of sound and where to focus the sound, and very carefully listen to what kind of sound that they are making, so they might blend and sing for the longest possible time. If they sing well, they should be able to sing until they're 50 or 60 years old and not ever lose their voice. longer because we have one order and everyone should be here. An example of nonsense syllables is labe dame nipo tu labe. This particular exercise goes back and forth from using a tongue consonant to a lip consonant. La, be, da, me, ni, po, tu, la, be, so that they learn to articulate up here in the front part of their mouth. It also has the good vowels, what we call the basic 5 vowels, a, e, o, u. It incorporates them so that they get good vowel placement. So we will do exercise like this. La, be, da, me, ni, po, tu, la, be. La, be, da, me, ni, po, tu, la, be. And so they can learn to have the consonants all right here in the front part of their mouth, using their lips and tongue, but also the good vowels so that it might ring like this up in their head so they can project and have good warm sound.
They had houses and school and
for the students to use their voices the very best and to take care of them. I approached it from two different directions, what they should do and what they shouldn't do. What they shouldn't do is drink lots of things with caffeine in it, like coffee or tea, or take medicines that do the same thing as coffee or tea and dry out everything. Caffeine takes away the moisture from your body. The things you would take for your sinuses, antihistamines, take away the moisture from your body. The muscles in here are so very small that if you take away too much moisture, it's like running your car engine without any oil in it. You're very much likely to hurt something, cause too much friction. So we worry about not doing that, but drinking enough water, getting a proper amount of rest, and of course singing properly.
Music is a way to express my praise and my thanks and my prayers to God that I wouldn't be able to express just through words. I feel the Spirit of God in the songs. I am a Christian and I do believe in God and I believe in Jesus and that He died for me. And I find it a privilege to be able to sing and to share that with other people. And I just love Him, and I love the opportunity to be able to share about that and to sing to Him just to that in that way. It's a very great feeling. I love it.
Because it's sweet and it's good and it's fun.
Yeah. Mold it into different shapes. I lost
You
it.
always have cotton candy at amusement parks.
Cotton candy at the circus at home.
You always make your friends buy it and then you eat it yourself.
Chin's new mustache.
Well, you can't tell.
Yeah, you can't now. I'll be back.
Okay, that's what I was
With
That'd be cool. Why not?
To me, God is someone who really loves us and shows us grace. Sometimes we just keep goofing up and over again, He'll continue to forgive us.
You're all over the place.
I experience Him a lot I think in two ways. A lot of times I experience Him in worship services. In our college, we have chapels about 3 times a week, sometimes more, and our worship services. That's one way that we can experience God. And also, we can experience Him, I think, in our church services. So I definitely experience God in worship. Another way I experience God is through my personal devotional life and in prayer and reading.
I communicate with God very when I pray to God, and I like to think that He's right there with me. I try to imagine Him right there with me, and not necessarily when you're down on your knees praying as something you do normally, like maybe once a day, but it's a time, where any time throughout the day you can just think about Him and know that God's there with you, right beside you, and everything I do, I like to know that He's there, and then to seek Him out. I like to go to the Bible for a lot of answers and seek out a lot of help from the Bible.
I believe one way that people can get to know God is through other people. I believe myself as a Christian, it's my responsibility to share God to others and who God is to me. And I think people, way off wherever, they're not going to know about Him unless they've been told about Him. And, I think it's our responsibility to tell others about who God is. I think people deep down inside have the ability to make choices, and I guess I don't know if that would be one way they could experience God without being told, but I don't really think you can know who it is God is unless someone explains it to them.
I won't choose songs just because of musical value. We will sing, everything we sing will have some reason for being in our program. It must be some kind of positive praise toward the Lord. It can't be negative at all. It must have something to do with our Christian life so that we might be better at it. It must have some words that can mean something after you've sung them over and over and over, because the message isn't necessarily just for our audiences, though that's important, but the students must need to get something out of the songs the longer they sing them. So the poetry or the words of the songs must be worth enough to sustain meaning for a long time.
Dead egg dilate in Denmark. Yeah.